Hello everyone, welcome back. I am standing here in the field that we mowerboard plowed the other day, and yesterday evening the ground was almost dry enough to plow, and we got quite a bit of rain last night, and it was mud this morning. I mean, pure teetotal mud. But we've had one of those March days where we've had 70-degree weather, and the sun's shone real bright, and we've had a breeze all day, and the ground looks dry on top, but if you just rake back, it's still mud. And a lot of times this time of year, that's something that can get you in trouble. You'll look at the ground and think, well, that's dry enough to plow, but it ain't dry enough at depth to plow. You can see that's just pure mud. I mean, it wads up and makes a nice little ball, and it won't break apart like this on top will. But a lot of times that'll get you in trouble this time of year. The best way, if you have ground like this that's tilled and you want to know if it's dry enough to work, early in the morning, what'll happen is where it's dried on top, the moisture in the bottom will soak back up through it, and it'll look like it's wet again in the morning, where right now it looks dry. But that's what you run into, because remember, you're plowing, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches deep, and you're going to run into that right there. So now a couple of days of this and the ground will dry. Another thing to keep in mind, tilled ground is going to take that water more than untilled ground. So it'll dry faster, but it gets wet easier, if that makes sense. The water will actually soak in, permeate down through it easier than if it hadn't been plowed. It's probably, in some of the fields that we have, some of the other soil types, it's probably real close to dry enough to plow right now. But I checked one bottom, and it was, of course, bottom ground mud. This being on a hillside and everything, that also helps. It doesn't hold the water as bad. But this has been plowed a couple of weeks. It's breaking up. You can see, because I can't turn if you watched that video, it's talking about how it didn't turn it as well in this particular rock pile. You can see some of the grass stuff coming up. For too long, we'll run in here with a disc, and it's falling apart, and go ahead and knock this on down so we can work it and keep it in good shape. Start getting ready to plant, because we are quickly approaching that time. I would like to plant a couple acres of sweet corn about 15th, 20th of April, and then plant 2 more acres 2 weeks after that, so forth and so on. So be done planting by middle of June. So so you 2 acres in April, 4 acres in May, and then whatever. So, and it may be that we start tightening them up, pushing them more to like a week apart plantings instead of 2 weeks. But we worked a little bit on the road today. The old part of the road, it was so wet I couldn't get the tractor to the new part of the road. Ground was wet and slimy, and couldn't get to it. So we're still struggling to catch a break to try to get some of this work done. If it doesn't rain tomorrow, and depending on the forecast for Monday, I've not seen the weather, we may be plowing Monday. I've got to get started. It's crunch time now. I'm in a situation now that if I had 3 weeks of dry weather, I could use every day to get ready. So if I only get a week, it means I'm gonna have to condense 3 weeks of work into 1 week. So you can kind of see my concern. But anyhow, that's what we've been up to today. We've not done a whole lot. Done a few little chores around the place, but for the most part, we're just waiting on the weather, which in farming, that's a pretty normal thing. So one thing that I've not mentioned, and I'll introduce them to you now, is 2 new additions to the farm. Since they're crying, we'll introduce them. What we've got here is, they're a half beagle and a half basset hound. They're brothers. One on the right is Poncho, one on the left is Lefty. So those are my boy's new pups. He's got them out here on the porch so they'll behave. And but yeah, Poncho and Lefty, farm dogs. So our other dog that was a beagle mix of some kind, we lost him back in the winter. So but anyhow, that's Poncho and Lefty. If you like what we're doing, we will get to doing something at some point. Please subscribe, hit that notification bell so you'll know when we put up a video. If you see a video you like, hit the like button. If you have a question or comment, please do so. We'll talk to you later. Bye.